Counterpoint, the general knowledge music quiz, chaired by Paul Gambaccini.
Hello. We're making the first of our visits this season to the north of England. We're at the BBC's Media City studios in Salford, with a small, socially distanced audience and 3 music lovers, each hoping their musical knowledge can take them through to the further stages of this year's Counterpoint tournament. Let's meet them.
Hello, I'm Richard Ashworth. I'm from Cheltenham in Gloucestershire, and the first record I bought was Rock and Roll Suicide by David Bowie.
Hello, I'm Sue Bates. I'm from Barrow-upon-Soar in Leicestershire, and the first record I bought was Jailhouse Rock by Elvis Presley.
Hi, I'm Neil Wright from the Wirral, and the first record I bought was Jira by Joni Mitchell.
Welcome, all 3 of you. I'm sure the rules are now a familiar refrain. In the opening round, I ask you musical general knowledge questions in turn for 2 points apiece. If you can't get the right answer to your own question, it will pass to the others for a possible bonus point. To paraphrase Jimmy James and the Vagabonds, now is the time to get things right, as we begin with the first question for you, Richard Ashworth. Music was my first love, and it will be my last. Music of the future and music of the past. So sang which Jarrow-born rock musician who died in December 2021?
John Miles.
That's right. Those song lyrics were from his 1976 hit, Music. Sue Bates, 2021, also saw the passing of Don Everly, who with his brother Phil had hits worldwide in the 50s and 60s, including Bye Bye Love and All I Have to Do Is Dream. Here's another Everly Brothers song performed by a popular pairing. Can you name them?
Wake up, little Susie, wake up. Wake up, little Susie, wake up. We both fell sound asleep. Wake up, little Susie, and weep. Over, it's 4 o'clock and we're in trouble deep. Wake up, little Susie. Wake up, little Susie.
Sorry, I don't know.
Can anyone else pick that up? No one seems to recognize Simon and Garfunkel. Neil Wright. 2022 is the 40th anniversary of the album release of Simon and Garfunkel's concert in Central Park, which includes Wake Up Little Susie. The benefit concert was recorded in September 1981, opening with which Grammy Award-winning hit from the film The Graduate?
Mrs. Robinson?
That's right, for 2 points. Richard Ashworth. A rock album cited by several critics when picking their favorites of last year, 2021, was a collection of Bob Dylan songs by a singer whose own career goes back more than 40 years. When we've heard You're a Big Girl Now from that album, I'd like you to name her.
Our conversation was short and sweet, but nearly swept me off of my feet. And I'm back in the rain. Oh, and you're on dry land. Ooh, you made it there somehow. You're a big girl now.
Chrissie Hynde.
That's right. That was from Chrissie Hynde's album of Dylan covers, Standing in the Doorway. Sue Bates, a piano suite subtitled The Gallants in Love, was written in 1911 by Spanish composer Enrique Granados. Including the pieces Love and Death and The Straw Man, it was inspired by the work of which Spanish artist?
Picasso.
I'm sorry, it's not Picasso. Can anyone else pick up? And Neil Wright says?
Goya.
Yes, that's right, for the bonus point. The suite's title is Goyescas. And I love the album by Alicia de la Rocha. Neil Wright, music now from a Russian composer. Here's Vasily Petrenko with the Royal Liverpool Philharmonic performing a symphony written in the early 1950s. This scherzo was later revealed as a musical portrait of a Soviet leader. 2 points are yours if you can name both composer and the political figure depicted.
Shostakovich and Stalin.
That's right, for 2 points. You heard Shostakovich's Symphony No. 10. Richard Ashworth, part of British composer Michael Tippett's Symphony No. 4, simulates the sound of what essential human activity?
Sleeping.
No? Does anyone else know? I thought Richard was going to get it because I heard his breathing. Music again for you, Sue Bates. 2022 is the 80th anniversary of an historic speech made by an American vice president. It motivated Aaron Copland to write this next piece. For your 2 points, can you name the work and the vice president who provided the inspiration?
Fanfare for the Common Man.
That's right.
And Johnson.
I'm sorry, that's not right. You get 1 point. Can anyone else remember the vice president who inspired that? And Richard Ashworth says...
Richard Nixon.
No, it was not Richard Nixon. Neil Wright, would you like to name a vice president? Can't hurt you.
Truman?
No, it was Henry A. Wallace, whose speech contained the phrase, "the century of the common man." Neil Wright, there were thousands of lives destroyed. It rained, both night and day, form part of the lyrics to John Lee Hooker's Tupelo Blues. The song recalled a destructive river flood during 1927 in which U.S. state?
Mississippi.
That's right, for 2 points. Richard Ashworth, it wasn't a flood, but a fire at Montreux Casino in Switzerland that inspired this next song. 2022 is the 50th anniversary of the Deep Purple rock classic Smoke on the Water. When you've heard it, I'd like you to name the album on which it was originally released.
Smoke on the water, a fire in the sky. Smoke on the water.
In rock.
I'm sorry, that was not the title of the album. And does anyone else know? Sue Bates vigorously shaking her head no, and Neil Wright less vigorously, but nonetheless not knowing that it is from Machine Head. Ritchie Blackmore has said that the main riff in the song is an interpretation of inversion of Beethoven's Fifth Symphony. And a member of the staff of my alma mater, University College, Oxford, told me he knew I'd made it when he heard me interview Ritchie Blackmore. Sue Bates, Nick Ashby, Edward Button, Alistair Hume, Brian Kay, and Nigel Perrin, among others, have all at one time or another been members of which a cappella group of singers formed at Cambridge in 1968?
King Singers.
That's right. You get 2 points. And there have been 28 different King Singers since 1968. We end this round with music for you, Neil Wright, by marking the death of the great Irish folk artist, Paddy Maloney. He was a composer, record producer, and versatile musician who did more than most to popularize Irish folk music in the mainstream. Here's the band he founded and fronted for more than 50 years, collaborating with Van Morrison on his song, Have I Told You Lately That I Love You? Then name them.
Have I told you lately that I love you? Have I told you there's no one above you? Can you fill my heart with gladness? Take away my sadness. Ease my troubles, that's what you do.
The Chieftains.
That's right, for 2 points. And let's hope we fill the contestants' hearts with gladness as I reveal the scores after that opening round. In third place with 3 points is Sue Bates. In second with 4 points, Richard Ashworth. And in the lead with 9 points, Neil Wright. In our second round, our competitors take their turns in the spotlight for individual questions on a musical category or theme from a list which I'm about to give them. This is the first time they've heard this list. They have had no chance to prepare. Today's choices are sci-fi and superheroes, music match of the day, political thinking, on your classical farm, and classical music at the BBC. Neil Wright, you're in the lead. What would you like?
Sci-fi and superheroes.
And for you, Richard Ashworth?
Musical match of the day.
And that leaves 3 for Sue, political thinking, on your classical farm, and classical music at the BBC.
On your classical farm.
Remember, we don't pass the questions around for bonus points in this round. We start with you, Sue Bates, and your questions on your classical farm. Saint-Saëns' Symphony No. 3 is used as the theme to which 1995 adventure film about a shy Yorkshire piglet?
Babe.
That's correct. Babe the Sheep Pig. Music now as we go from Babe to Bach. Here's a track from Celtic Woman's 2021 album Postcards from Ireland. Do you recognize this cantata?
Sheep may safely graze.
And you safely have 2 points. In which suite by Mussorgsky will you find the Ballet of Unhatched Chicks?
Pictures at an exhibition.
You're right, for 2 points. Let's crack on with another extract. Here's a work by Prokofiev, which I'd like you to name for 1 point. You'll get a further point if you can identify the narrator.
"What kind of bird are you if you can't fly?" said he.
To this the duck replied, "What kind of bird are you if you can't swim?" and dived into the pond.
Peter and the Wolf.
Yes, for a point.
Can't get the narrator.
The narrator was David Bowie.
Oh.
In 1971, Sir Frederick Ashton choreographed a ballet film inspired by the work of an author who spent many years of her life as a farmer and conservationist in the Lake District, including performances from the characters Mrs. Tiggywinkle and Pigling Bland. What is the ballet called?
Tales of Beatrix Potter.
That's right, for 2 points. 2022 is the 40th anniversary of Michael Morpurgo's novel War Horse. It was adapted for the stage in 2007, then galloped its way onto the big screen in 2011 for a film directed by Steven Spielberg. Here's the music, which accompanied scenes of the horse plowing a field in Dartmoor. Can you unearth the name of the composer?
John Williams.
That's right, John Williams gets you 2 points. And finally in this round, Haydn's Symphony No. 83 in G minor was given a nickname after listeners were fascinated by the first movement in which the first violin sounded like which farm animal?
Donkey.
Oh, I'm sorry, it's hens. The hen became the nickname of that symphony. But there was nothing foul about this score. In that round, you got a total of 11 points added to your previous 3. You now have 14 points. Richard Ashworth, suit up for your musical match of the day. Although Nessun Dorma had long been a staple of operatic recitals, which tenor popularized the aria during the 1990 World Cup in Italy?
Pavarotti.
That is right. And when I interviewed Pavarotti after the 98 World Cup performance, fearing that he might not hit the high note, I said, "Are you ever afraid you're not going to hit the high note?" And he said, "Oh, no, I've lowered it a couple of keys." We stay with Italia 90 for some music. Here's the UK #1, World in Motion. A question will follow.
You got to hold and give, but do it at the right time. You can be slow or fast, but you must get to the line. They'll always hit you and hurt you, defend and attack. There's only one way to beat them, get round the back. Catch me if you can, 'cause I'm the England man, and what you're looking at is the master plan. We ain't no hooligans, this ain't a football star. 3 lions on my chest, I know we can't go wrong.
World in Motion was the official single release by New Order with the England national football team. That rap by John Barnes was written by a comedian and actor who also appears in the video. Can you name him?
His name was Alan, I thought.
Yes, that'll give you a point. And his first name is Keith. You get a point. 4 years later, another football song hit the back of the net. Come On You Reds reached the top spot for the Manchester United football squad. They were assisted by a British rock group who, formed in 1962, were known as the Scorpions. By what name are they known today?
Status Quo.
That is correct. Music again from Manchester. We head north to Newcastle United. Here's the theme, Going Home, played as the teams walk out onto the pitch at St. James's Park Stadium. When you've heard it, I'd like you to name the 1983 film it originally features in and its composer.
The film was Coming Home, and the composer was Mark Knopfler.
Yes, I told you the theme is called Going Home, but the film is not called Going Home. It's called Local Hero. But Mark Knopfler is the composer, and you get 1 point. A Colombian singer has performed at the closing ceremonies of several World Cups. She performed the official song of the 2010 World Cup, Waka Waka, this time for Africa. This is reportedly the biggest-selling World Cup hit of all time. Who is she?
Shakira.
Correct for 2 points. The origins of football computer games date back to the 70s. In the 21st century, eclectic music playlists have been added to the gaming experience. Here's a classical work which introduces the action for Pro Evolution Soccer. Can you identify the composer?
Rachmaninoff.
I'm sorry, that was not by Rachmaninoff. That was the Dies Irae from the Requiem Mass by Verdi. Football's Coming Home was a regular chant during the European Championships played in 2021. It's taken from 3 Lions by the English comedians David Baddiel and Frank Skinner with the rock band Lightning Seeds. The song has been revamped several times. The 1998 version begins with the sound of stadium crowds then samples commentary of a decisive penalty miss by which England player?
Stuart Pearce.
Oh, I'm sorry. You know your football, but you didn't know Gareth Southgate. And in that round, you scored 8 points. Added to your previous 4, you now have 12 points. And so, Neil Wright, here come your questions on sci-fi and superheroes. Which Stanley Kubrick film of 1968 opens with Strauss's tone poem, Also sprach Zarathustra?
2001: A Space Odyssey.
For 2 points. 1968 also saw the release of the first Planet of the Apes movie. Here's a part of Jerry Goldsmith's film score. A question will follow. That music precedes the film's climactic scene where Taylor, played by Charlton Heston, realizes the planet he is on is actually Earth, after discovering which famous monument has been destroyed?
The Statue of Liberty.
Correct, for 2 points. When a Romany wizard named Dizzy the Hun learned the supervillain Dr. Doom was attempting to acquire a mystical box, he did what he could to protect it. He recruited 4 teenagers, granting them powers. Wearing white makeup and superhero costumes, the quartet defeated Doom. Afterwards, they started a popular rock band known as...
The Archies.
I'm sorry, it was Kiss. That story about Kiss appears in the Marvel comic book franchise, which is part of a much wider universe, including films and television series. Here's music from a 2018 superhero film based on a Marvel Comics character. Can you identify which one?
Spider-Man.
I'm sorry, that was the main theme to Black Panther, starring the late Chadwick Boseman. In Tim Burton's 1996 comic science fiction film Mars Attacks, the yodeling of which American country music singer saves the world?
Slim Whitman.
That's right. The Martians could not bear it.
Not the only one.
I tell the jokes. John Williams has provided many memorable scores for classic sci-fi films, including Superman, E.T., and Close Encounters of the Third Kind. His love theme, Across the Stars, features in the Star Wars movie Attack of the Clones. It's used as a backdrop to the relationship between 2 principal characters. After you've heard it, I'd like you to name them.
Han Solo and Princess Leia.
No, I'm sorry. That was
Wrong
a tough
film.
Wrong film, and I am sorry. It was a tough one. Anakin and Padme. Not hard for Star Wars fans, but for civilians, yes. Finally, in this round, Jeff Wayne's musical version of The War of the Worlds tours Britain again in 2022 with a new cast. The original album release of 1978 has Richard Burton as protagonist and David Essex as the artilleryman. But which British singer and actress plays Beth?
No, I don't know.
It was Julie Covington. But I'm not going to cry for you, Neil, because in that round you scored 6 points, added to your previous 9, gives you a total of 15 points. After the individual round, here are the scores. Lying third with 12 points is Richard Ashworth. In second place with 14 points, it's Sue Bates. And our leader with just one round to go with 15 points is Neil Wright. It could hardly be closer. It's on the button in the quick-fire final round, and things can change quickly. A correct answer wins you 1 point, but you lose a point if you flash in and fail to answer correctly. There are no bonuses. Fingers poised. Here we go. According to the Scott McKenzie song, if you're going to San Francisco, what should you be sure to wear, Sue Bates?
A flower in your hair.
For the point. What's the name of the birdcatcher in Mozart's opera The Magic Flute? And Neil Wright says...
Papageno.
Papageno. J.S. Bach was cantor of St. Thomas Church in which German city? And Neil says...
Leipzig.
Correct. Which 1996 film set in a coal mining village follows the story? And Sue says...
Billy Elliot.
Oh, I'm sorry. It was brassed off. I was going to mention the Grimley Colliery Brass Band. The Motown song by Rod Stewart features vocals by which Motown group? No one wants to risk losing a point. It's the Temptations. Rough flam tap and triple paradiddle are all techniques of what? And Richard says?
Drumming.
For the point. The 1967 Marine Offences Act dealt with what type of radio broadcasting, Neil?
Pirate radio.
Yes. In which Rodgers and Hammerstein musical does Julie Jordan meet Billy and Sue Bates as...
Carousel.
For the point. The costumes worn by which disco group, formed in New York in 1977, included a cowboy, construction, and Richard says...
Village people.
He gets the point. Which American trumpeter led the Tijuana Brass? And Sue says...
Herb Alpert.
For the point. With which instrument do you associate the jazz and blues singer Nina Simone? And Sue says...
Piano.
Correct. In centimeters, what is the diameter of a standard compact disc? Obviously, no one ever got the ruler to discover it's 12 centimeters. In 1972, Cat Stevens took which hymn into the charts? And Richard says...
Morning Has Broken.
For the point. To whom was Beethoven's Eroica Symphony originally dedicated? And
Napoleon Bonaparte.
Neil Wright gets it correct for the point. Sticky Fingers, Beggar's Banquet, and Richard says...
Rolling Stones.
Correct. Which 3 letters connect a Los Angeles-based record label with a unit of rotational speed? And Sue says...
RPM.
Correct. Which former U.S. president's surname can be heard several times in the lyrics to the novelty song Nellie the Elephant? Sue says...
Trump.
Trump. Correct. And finally, what's the last herb mentioned in these lyrics to the traditional song Scarborough Fair? Neil Wright.
Thyme.
That is correct. I didn't even have to say parsley, sage, rosemary, and here are the scores in today's round. Third, with 16 points, is Richard Ashworth. Runner-up with 19 points is Sue Bates. And our winner with 20 points is Neil Wright. Very well done, Neil Wright. We'll see you again in just a few weeks' time. Sincere thanks to the other two of you, of course. Impressive performances in a very close contest. Another trio of music lovers will be with us in Salford next week for another heat of Counterpoint. I hope you'll be listening. Until then, goodbye.